What's up, traders? Took 5 trades today. OMI, that thing got us. Let's get to it. All right, traders, we're just going to roll through our trades and go through them. So SVM was the first trade of the day. This thing popped up, nice resistance here before 8. We decided to jump in, and this ended up being just a starter trade. And we ended up taking this one off. Let's see, we got 787. Took this one off of 770. So we got 17 cents there. Not bad for a starter. CDE was our next trade. The reason we didn't scale out of SVM, just real quick, is because we pretty much got that drop right away down to that previous resistance area, so wasn't really looking to get too much more out of it. But as you'll see over here on CDE, this one we had the previous resistance way down here, so if we got that flush from the top, we were looking to take most off around 50%, and if it wanted to give us more, obviously we were looking to take it. So we had put 2 orders out there, one right at the $0.50, you can see 751, and then we took the other 25% that we had left down there at 740. So that was a pretty good trade as well for a single entry. And then the next trade was OMI, but I'm just going to get these other 2 trades out of the way real quick. HUYA was the last trade we took for the day. We actually didn't even see this on the front side. It kind of grinded up there, but it formed a little bit of a descending triangle, pretty much as textbook as you can get textbook. Trend line here, as you can see, nice little descending triangle. So we were risking 1-to-1. Right off the highs, it was 20 cents, and down to about that 50% fib line, it was 20 cents as well. So that was where we took it. 1-to-1 trade there on HUYA. That was a good one. And we actually tried a long on HTBX. We saw it tried to double bottom here, so we jumped in looking for this to reverse up towards VWAP. And once I realized it wasn't and it wanted to come back towards low of day through $3 again, I just jumped out. We basically bottom ticked it, so I just decided to make it a right or right out trade instead of scaling into it. Even though scaling into it would have worked, just was looking to be right or right out on this one, so that was what we took. So on to OMI. Started this thing way early. Had a nice little pop here through pre-market resistance and through the whole dollar of 11. We jumped in, pretty much bottom ticked this candle that it was on. Our entry was at 11.12. The bottom of that candle was 11.09. So as you can see, pretty much from our entry, we never got back below that 11.20, 11.19, 11.23 on these 3 candles here. So we decided to come up, and as you guys can see, this thing just decided to not want to work in our favor. We added again right here at the first sign that we might have had a top here, right through 11.50. And it obviously was not. It tried. It got down to 11.34 and then decided to jump back up here, went all the way up through 13. We got our ad at 13. It went through, and we got it as it was coming back down through 13, figuring, okay, that was a pretty extended move, much bigger than these. Had all the volume, pretty much every sign that you could look for a reversal. And as you could tell, this thing said, nope, we're good. So pretty much I was just along for the ride at this point, and we had our max loss throughout the trade. I kept hitting this stop max button, and it put our order at 14.77. And as you can see, it actually came up to 14.70. We were 7 cents away from getting stopped out at our 150 max loss. And the whole time I was just waiting for a 2-minute candle to break its lows so that we could add, looking for this thing to come back down. But look, this whole way up, it never does it. It just never breaks that candle. Just kept on climbing, kept on climbing, kept on climbing. And right here was the first time it did it. But in reality, at this point, it started grinding again. So I said we were this close to the max loss. I didn't want to add to bring my max loss down even further. So I just let it be to see if we could get any kind of turnover. And then it kept struggling. It kept struggling. It tried to break out here at 14.70. And right there, I said, okay, that is a nice fake break. We're going to look to take it. It went through 14.60 to 14.70, only 10 cents on that break, where we were getting point moves before. So I said, okay, I think we finally found a top. There was some decent volume there as well again. So I decided to add and just leave my stop at high of day. And it tried. It did try to pull back, but as you can see, it did not pull back much. We did get below 14. I thought, okay, maybe we can at least get down to VWAP. Our average was absolutely horrible. It was down here at 12.15. And so I actually think after this last ad, I have to go back and look at the tape. I think it brought it up to like 12.45, I want to say. So I think we were somewhere around in that area. But as you can see, in comparison to the chart, we had a long ways to go. And even so, the the breakdown after it finally tried again, ended up getting up to 1540. It still only got down to 13, didn't even go through 13. So we were really just looking to try to get 50% of the move, because as the move happened, I did draw the fibs here. And I said, okay, we'll look to just manage our risk, see if we can get down to that 1244 area. And that's where we're going to look to take our position for a loss. So unfortunately, it never even tried. It consolidated up here at the highs and ultimately ended up going higher, and we ended up stopping out. So as you can see, it consolidated up here again and tried to go higher again before finally pulling back. So that just sucked, right? I mean, these trades happen. This is why you have to manage risk. This is why you have to have some sort of risk management plan in effect. And I did. I've never been happier to lose on a trade. This was a max loss. And yes, it sucked. I probably shouldn't even have been in the trade this long. I probably should have added more in this area and probably would have stopped out somewhere like up in this area or around 14. Because my average was horrible, right? So once my average was that bad, I had to either try to save it and just accept the max loss or just get out, right? Because all I did was I just delayed the inevitable. Even after letting it do all of this, I was still just looking to manage a red trade at that point. There was no way I was expecting this thing to come back and give me a green trade. But just going to move on, right? We accepted the max loss. We accepted the risk. We had risk management in place before we ever got into the trade. And I mean, how we got to it's all hindsight at this point. This could have just fell over after the first entry. We don't know what a stock's going to do when we get in. Yes, found out that this was on earnings, but you never really would have known that based off of the way this opened, right? There was like no volume, and then out of nowhere, it just looked like, hey, just some random volume came in, a nice little spike, extended away from previous resistance. Let's start this just like we would start any other trade. And unfortunately, sometimes these are going to happen. And again, that's why risk management is so important. So going to leave you with that. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I always appreciate that support. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave those down below, and we'll be back at it tomorrow. Live to trade another day. That's what this is all about. Risk management, consistency. Let's go. See you tomorrow. Peace.